Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of i2i Live, where we talk about Disney news for the previous week, going back all the way to last Thursday. 7 days of news, and boy, would you think that there would be not that much to talk about in 7 days, but there is. We're going live on YouTube and on Facebook Live right now. So you can watch it on two different avenues. I'm probably going to be staring more up at the YouTube camera here because hey, I mean, it is going to be stay up there forever, and Facebook, it's a little bit harder for me to stare down here. So that's where, if you see me looking up on Facebook up here, that's what's going on up here. And I'm actually going to try to like mid-show adjust as we're still kind of learning how to do all this stuff. And scoot over here because normally this is the part of the show where I would go. This is i2i. I'm Kyle, and this is. There's nobody there. I am without my partner in crime, my best friend, and my wife, Jessica, tonight. Unfortunately, she is not able to join us to talk about this tonight. She is getting home late from work. I thought there might be a chance she would pop in here at the last second to say hello to us. But I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. It wasn't in the cards for that, which is really a shame because this is the night that I really wanted her here because I've got a list of stuff that came out this week for Disney News, and it's all the way down this notepad right here. Just to give you a smattering of the things that we might talk about tonight, it's going to include stuff like a Kim Possible live action movie, Comcast trying to buy Fox from Disney, Tokyo new theme park, Avengers Super Bowl spot, Solo Super Bowl spot and trailer, the Atlanta Braves going to Walt Disney World, Small World maybe getting replaced, Incredible Summer at Walt Disney World, Tron construction, all our polls and interactions from Twitter and Facebook this week, the Star Wars series, the Main Street Theater, Hollywood Studios possibly getting a name change, maybe not anymore. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I am. So probably it's good that Jessica wasn't here tonight because there's going to be stuff that we don't cover that I want to really talk with her about. And we'll probably go back next week because there's no way there can be this much news next week on this show because it's just not possible. I don't see how there could possibly be more than this. So we'll probably come back to the stuff that we don't get to tonight, and we'll probably obviously go back to some of the stuff we did talk about to get her opinions on because I'm betting she's got a few things she wants to share about some of these things that happened tonight. So before we get started tonight, I would really appreciate it if you are watching this live and if you're watching this on the recording, if you would hit that like button on Facebook and YouTube and also that share button as well. It would really help us out and to draw more Disney fans in here to talk about all this awesome stuff. Part of that is we really want you guys to be part of the show as well. We ask beforehand some things to get some interaction as far as polls and what's your biggest news item for the week. We're going to touch on that in a second. But I really want to hear from you. I want to hear your comments about what I'm talking about. You can kind of direct what we talk about too. Last week, we didn't even get started talking about the news. It was really just a Bash Kyle session with me and you and then a couple of people on YouTube and on Facebook were getting in on the action as well. So that was pretty funny, honestly. I went back and watched, and I was like, well, I guess if I've got to be the butt of the joke, there's worse things in this world to be. So yeah, in the comment section, questions, comments, anything that you want me to address, obviously be nice and keep it civil. But we'll cover all of that there. And even if you're watching this on the recording, you can obviously comment after the fact, and we'll come back and interact with you and talk about that stuff with you. Stuff we said, stuff we didn't cover. It's all you. We want to know what you think about in this show tonight. So I kind of want to start doing this more often. Is we start with, hey, we're gonna ask a poll on Thursday mornings on Twitter, and I haven't figured out how to make it work. Facebook, I'm still trying to tweak with how best we can use it. You can do some polls over there, but I can't figure out how to do more than two options, which is what you're really going to need. I asked the question today on Twitter, what is the biggest news item for the week? And I know there are a ton of things on here that I could have listed in that poll, but it just wouldn't fit all in one poll. Hey, Love Family Productions, thanks for joining us again. Jessica, I just got done talking about it a second ago, so you can hear my whole spiel there. But in short, she is coming home late from work, unfortunately. So it's just me tonight. Like I said, there was possibly a chance that she might be able to pop in here at the last second. Don't think that's going to happen. But I'm going to try to entertain you guys tonight as best as I can because we really want to keep on the schedule of doing the live show 7:30 each Thursday night as we can. So that's why it's just me tonight, and I hope I can be just as entertaining even without my better half. You know, she's here in spirit. What we were talking about was the poll I asked. What was your biggest news item for the week? And the choices were the Solo trailer, the Main Street Theater being canceled or at least delayed. Something's going on with it. The name for Hollywood Studios. I'm glad that you, Family Productions. I'm glad that you'll deal with just me. And the new Star Wars series that was just announced. And apparently, I heard just before this that there was a new TV series announced as well. I cannot confirm that because I haven't. And it kind of was scrolling through social media and I saw it there. So here's the poll results. 67% of the people said the biggest news story was the Solo trailer. The Main Street Theater was 22%. And then the new name for Hollywood Studios was the 11% of what the biggest news story for the week is. This new Star Wars series, I thought that would be the biggest thing in the world, to be honest with you, because to me, there's some big things on here, but that kind of made me think a little bit. Let's see. Love Family Production says, we were worried you'd be upset, Kyle, after the announcement of the theater cancellation. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that tonight because I can't, like I said, I was going to try to hold some of these topics back for next week and talk with Jessica about them because I don't expect it to be as busy next week. It can't be, like I said. But I am going to talk about that. But what people want us to talk about first is the Solo trailer. Nothing But Disney, hello. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to see a couple of new faces on here. If I didn't see you last week, I may have missed you. But the Solo trailer, we did a reaction video that you can find on the YouTube channel, especially if you're already there on YouTube. You can find, don't go away from this, but you can watch it later. We do reaction trailers. We're obviously going to go see Solo when it comes out, and we'll review the film then, just like we've done with every Disney film. Well, I mean, it is a Disney film, even though it's Star Wars. It's owned by Disney. We did actually record a trailer review for the Jessica Jones Marvel Netflix series, and even though it is, we did the Punisher one, and that actually was probably one of our most popular reaction videos, and I just don't feel like it fits as well. If you guys really want us to react to the Marvel Netflix series trailers, we can do that. We're just not going to be able to review them. We don't have the time to do that. I watch them. We don't have the time to do them. Anyway, the Solo trailer. Go watch a reaction video there. Let us know what you think. Our initial thoughts after watching it for the first time ever. Now that I've had a day, 3 days. Super Bowl was on Monday today, so there's 3 days to kind of sit back and think about what my thoughts are on the trailer. It's kind of, I'm still kind of on the fence about it because there's some things I'm like, that's kind of cool, but I don't know how I feel about that. Then there's some that's like, oh yeah, here we go. This is going to be great. So I want to know, while I'm kind of giving you my thoughts, your thoughts on the trailer. If you liked it, if you didn't, what stuck out to you, what didn't. Let me hear from you guys about the Solo trailer if you've seen it. But Lando Calrissian, but this time being played by Donald Glover Jr., which I think is Donald Glover Jr., but he's not related to Donald Glover. Anyway, the Selfish Gambino, I think, is his stage name that he has for his rap name. I think he's going to be great. Nothing But Disney says, I like the music from the trailer. I think, there's been a bunch of trailers lately that there's been some great music in. I remember the Punisher trailer. You can see me in the reaction video going, oh, I like this music. But they're doing really well. Whoever mixes trailers these days is getting better and better. The trailer looked fun to me. Like I said, I think Donald Glover is going to knock it out of the park as Lando. I'm intrigued by the Kira character. I think that's Kira that, originally, what was it? Rey was supposed to be named Kira in the original concept of this, but not with spelled like Q-U apostrophe. No, Kira. Q-I. apostrophe R-A, is how it's spelled now. So I wonder if they're taking a little bit of that story or a little bit of concepts they didn't use for Rey's for this character. It's going to be weird. I'm assuming that's his romantic interest in this. I don't know. It's going to be weird, to be honest with you, watching that, knowing that he ends up with Leia. They have a kid together who wants to destroy the galaxy. But um, Chewbacca's in it. You know, there's always those feel good moments when you see him roar for the first time. Supposedly there were some hints in there to Boba Fett, which I really missed, and I hate that because I'm a huge Boba. Well, I'm a the bounty hunters. I'm a fan of that kind of thing. I have a. Is it in here? Yep. I'm gonna pull it off the shelf. We're gonna use visual aids tonight, so you guys can see it on Facebook. This is the old. This is not canon anymore, but Star Wars Tales of the Bounty Hunters. There's Boba, Dengar, Bosk. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Forlom and Zusk or something like that. But those are some of the famous bounty hunters that you see from Episode 5. I love. That's one of my favorite books ever, even though it's not canon anymore. So yeah, I think it's going to be weird trying to accept Alden Ehrenreich as the heir apparent to the Han Solo role. I think he can do it. I almost want them to do a trilogy or a couple of movies with this, just because I want to see what he can do other than just one. But I don't think they're going to do that. I legitimately think we're going to see Han and Chewie walking in to the cantina on Tatooine, and that's going to be it. That's the end of the movie. Just like the last scene you see is Leia saying "Hope" for Rogue One. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I do that all the time. I got to remember that if I'm going to say the ending of a movie, that there's still some people out there who haven't seen it that want to. So I've got to remember not to say that. But there's a event at the end of Rogue One that leads right in to Episode 4, and I think that's what's going to happen here. You're going to have, worlds collide at the end of that movie there. Looks fun. Like you said, nothing but Disney. This is some great music in there. I feel a lot better after hearing all of the ruckus about the production and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to it. It was just nice to finally see the trailer. I mean, we already saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, which comes out after that. And we just now got this trailer. I knew they were trying to wait for the Super Bowl and all that, but I was just kind of like, we should have seen a teaser, something by now. So that's the most talked about thing from Twitter. When we put the poll out, the second topic that everybody wanted to hear about, and then Love Family Productions also wanted me to talk about because they were worried about how I was going to feel, was the Main Street Theater. And I don't think we talked about this on the live show last week because I think it kind of broke right before or right after we did the show. I can't remember. Maybe somebody who watched the live show last week can remind me. But so if you haven't heard, at D23 this last summer, they announced that they were going to do several editions, obviously, around the parks around the world, the cruise lines, all this kind of stuff. Farah on Facebook Live comment asked me, why am I doing this during Auburn softball? Farah, I have many ventures, and some of them don't revolve around Auburn athletics, and this is the night we set to do this. So I will be paying attention to Auburn softball after this, but not during the i2i show where we talked about Disney news. But I'm glad you're watching. Where was I? Can't even remember about it. So the Main Street Theater was a new thing they were going to bring along with Tron to the Magic Kingdom for the 50th anniversary. And it was going to be, if you're going down Main Street, down the right, it's going to make a little pocket avenue, which I thought was brilliant. Just brilliant. With as many problems as they have getting people out of there, especially when the parades are happening. I couldn't tell you, when they announced that, I nearly lost my mind because I really, really have thought they could do something more with Main Street. It's great as it is, but they need something to hold people there, to pull them away from Tomorrowland, from Adventureland, from Fantasyland, from Liberty Square, Frontierland. They need to pull people away so that they can kind of spread the traffic out. And I thought a Broadway-style place where you could... sorry, my cats are going crazy in the background. Where you could have rotating plays or productions would be a great idea for for all of them. Let's see what Farrah says. Hey, this is a much better night than Monday for live streams. Just saying. For those of you who don't know, I guess most people won't know this, but I have a podcast network for Auburn Athletics that we do a live show on Monday nights, and that's what Farrah on Facebook Live is referring to. Podcat, you'll see me kind of looking off because they're making tons of noise over there. I'm trying to make sure that's not somebody come running up in the house trying to rob me or something like that. So you might see Podcat later, Farrah. But yeah, the Main Street Theater, when it got announced this week that it was possibly going to be canceled, it was possibly going to be delayed, my initial reaction is obviously like, oh crap, what the heck? Like, I think this was a poor choice on their part, you know. But then I kind of started reading some other people's opinions about it, and they said that even if it's canceled and it's not just delayed, that means they're allocating those funds somewhere else, and probably within Magic Kingdom Park, which would mean that there's something bigger and better in the works coming forward. So from that angle, I was a little put at ease by it, but I still want to see it happen because I think that's brilliant. I think if they make this pocket street on the side with this show, eventually, I don't think there's room for it, but if there is, on the left side that's closer to Adventureland, I don't think the waterway comes all the way up to the back of it, but if there's room there to create, maybe not a show, obviously not a ride, because rides don't really fit there, but think about this. They put the, what do they call it? Somebody help me out. Hollywood Studios, what is it called? It's where the documentary film about Walt and all his, like, all the models for stuff, production stuff from back in the day. What is it called? One Man's Dream is what it's called. Love Family Productions says, yes, definitely want the pocket street to move crowds. I think, honestly, I know it sounds silly, but that's the most important part about it. And then, yeah, I just got it, One Man's Dream. Thank you for helping me out there. But I think if you put the theater there, One Man's Dream on that side, and kind of do it a little bit bigger than they've done it at Hollywood Studios, that's enough to hold people's attention there. And, you know, there's great street stuff on Main Street. You know, you got the Flag Retreat, the... gosh, I'm blanking on everything night. The performers on Main Street. Obviously, this is one of the better viewing areas for the fireworks and the train stations there. So I just think those two things would really complete that area really well. Farrah says, I'm going to stay tuned just so I can see Podcat. I hope that we get a viewing from her. Nothing but Disney says, Dapper Dan's. Yes, that is one of the performers. But I thought there were the Main Street Players or something like that that have been there before. But I'm really hoping that this is just a delay and not a cancel to the fullest. Let's see. So from our poll, the next thing that people wanted to talk about was excuse me, I'm yawning tonight too, was the renaming for Hollywood Studios. And the name that I heard circulated, and I think we've all heard circulated this week because Disney actually had to respond to it, this was going to be renamed to Cinemagine. Let that sink in. Cinemagine. I have not heard a name that bad in quite some time. We've all done, you know, armchair Imagineering, and we could come up better names than that. I agree, Love Family Productions. Terrible. Just terrible. If anybody knows who Charles Barkley is, I was just terrible. Why can't they just leave the name alone, says Nothing But Disney. I think a name change is going to be due when everything is done there. I think, personally, and maybe this is a topic I can just cover tonight since Jessica's not here and she won't want to hear this. I think they've missed an opportunity to not only keep the name Hollywood Studios, but to really still keep the movie feel there. And it's going to stay there. There's putting comments in Facebook Live that I'm not sure what she's referring to, but I'm not sure I want to. Love Family Productions says, Charles Barkley, you mean that Auburn basketball player? Yes, the best Auburn basketball player. So when you hear me just say, just terrible, I'm quoting him. because he can't say terrible, he says terrible. Um, so if they wanted to keep, I don't think they'll ever be able to make it work. Um, Excuse me. The concept of a working production facility like they wanted to, because that time has passed, and because that interest just really wasn't there. But if they wanted to keep the studio aspect of it, I think that they could have focused on the studios, the big IPs, not just IPs, but companies that they now own. So let's think about that. You've got not just Star Wars, but you've got all of Lucasfilm. What's in Lucasfilm? Indiana Jones, Star Wars. He's got stuff like Red Tails, American Graffiti, and I'm sure there's other stuff of George Lucas that I'm not thinking of. Farrah wants me to go to sleep because I keep yawning. It's been a long week, Farrah. I've been doing a lot of podcast editing and stuff for this as well. But I think you think about that, then you think about Pixar, where there was already Pixar Place. Well, instead of just bringing Toy Story Land, what if we made, we brought the Cars Land here. We brought, a Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., something. Love Family Productions. Wow, you're busy with podcasts, videos, and zookeeping. You have no idea. Like I like to say to the Auburn podcast people, this is the Disney wall. This is y'all's wall. There's a wall over there that's dedicated to them. So each got a wall, and this will be more stuff later on. But so if you think about Pixar, if you think about Marvel Studios, if they ever got the rights to do that, and then you think about Disney Animation. Well, there's four different studios. Gives you 4 separate lands to do something with in Hollywood Studios. But then you also because it's about the studios, it's still about Hollywood, it makes more sense to keep Sunset Boulevard with Tower of Terror. Rock and Roller Coaster could probably use some kind of better tie-in, but I guess kind of honoring the Hollywood music scene is okay. But yeah, so I think that could have stayed. You could have kept the hub, the main entrance the same, and kept Hollywood Studios. Now, there's been rumors, do you change it to Hollywood Adventure? I think that's better than Cinemagine. I want to know what you guys think. Do you like Cinemagine? I can tell Love Family Productions doesn't. Do you have a better name for Hollywood Studios other than Hollywood Studios or Cinemagine? Or Hollywood Adventure? Those are the 3 that I've heard either staying the same, the 2 difference. So, love to hear from you guys what you think. Anything is better than that name. I agree. I definitely agree. Hollywood Adventure is not the most ambitious and amazing name, but I think it's definitely better than what that is. So those are the 3 things that most people voted for, but we've got one other thing to cover. Nothing but Disney says I got an idea. Disney's Hollywood Studios. I think everybody would be happy if we just kept it at that. And yeah, so and Love Family Productions agrees with you. So the last news item that I wanted to cover from the poll, and not just we'll talk about some other things too, but the new Star Wars series that announced. So let me take actually, you know what? I just realized something on Facebook. I have this little time card here. Let me pull this. There you go. Now you don't have to see the 00 on Facebook Live, Farrah. So we've got the new trilogy finishing up in 2 years with Episode 9, and who knows what that's going to be called. But I think then they announced Rian Johnson's trilogy, which is going to be set in a different part of the galaxy, not the Skywalker storyline. So I keep getting distracted because of all that's going on in here. But now they've announced another series for Star Wars. And then, your initial react, kind of like with the Main Street Theory, you have an initial reaction where you go, oh, that's awesome, that's great. More Star Wars. But then you start thinking about it, is there too much Star Wars? And I don't think there's such a thing. But at the same time, I kind of wonder, is there going to be an overload of that at some point? And I wonder, part of me wonders, are they announcing these series because let's think about it this way. Episode 9 is in 2019. So think about another year gap where, or there's supposedly another solo film coming, not a solo, but like a, what do you call it, a standalone film coming out soon. And I think that's supposed to be the Obi-Wan film. So you have that go by, maybe you take a year break, and then you do Ryan Johnson's series and this new series, kind of, doing the intermingling thing where one's 1 year, one's another. But I wonder if that's just to tide us over till the next series in this timeline, or not timeline, but what am I thinking of? Timeline. Not just timeline, but like this storyline. I think that may be what's going on here. Is these are just going to tell stories like the Old Republic, brand new stuff for Ryan Johnson. Maybe actually tell us who Snoke is. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm cautiously optimistic, kind of like I was for the Solo trailer. But what do you guys think? I want to know what you think about the possibility of yet another Star Wars series coming to theaters. Not just what we know, not just the Ryan Johnson series, but completely done or done by, who are they? Game of Thrones, those guys, which is why people think it's going to be the Old Republic, because they're good at like medieval stuff, sword fighting, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably the smart angle if that's what they're going to go with. Somebody who's proven to be able to do that so well. So I also asked some polls about the Star Wars series on Twitter and Facebook. And some of you said 43. I asked if they were excited about it. They said 43% of you said yes. 29 said meh. I like to put meh in there. And 28% put no. So very obviously more positive about it, but then very evenly spread out after that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Also asked the poll about whether that people were happy about the Main Street Theater thing leaving, and they said, "Oh, you said hi from Philly. I guess you guys must be Philly fans. If I have that right, tell me or not in the comments section." The Main Street Theater asked if people were happy about it leaving, or were sad about it leaving, and they said 46% yes, 38% no, and then 16% of y'all don't care. Nothing But Disney is from Philly, Philly, Philly. I can tell you guys are excited. I'm not a Patriots fan, I'll tell you that much, and I'm not a Eagles fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I definitely was an Eagles fan that night. And it was nice to see Tom Brady get what he doesn't get that often, and that's a loss, especially in a big game. And I struggle with where to go too personal about our stuff, because I know some people don't want to know or stuff. But I really admire Nick Foles and his stance on some things, and he is a very good role model. And I'm glad you guys had him as part of your team. And I'll say this much: from what I've seen from the organization as a whole, they are one to really model after. But yeah. So I'm really excited for what they've done. The parade was crazy. I didn't even have this in the notes to talk about this week, but that's great. Nick Foles went to Disney World. It was in the parade. I didn't get to watch it. There's a live stream online if you do want to watch it, that you can go back and see it all. But that was really cool to see him honored that way, and the Phillies. And I like to see streaks broken. So the fact that you guys got a Super Bowl, finally in the Super Bowl era was really cool to see and experience, because I think the fact that Philly won, and then the storyline with everything that's been going on in the NFL and all that kind of stuff, it was a great way to cap off what's been a very tumultuous season for fans and athletes alike. So that's pretty cool. That had a small Disney connection there, but we talked about the Super Bowl. I missed Farrah's comment earlier. She says, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but this is bordering on too much. I mean, we did go without for several years. And Farrah's not excited because we're talking about sports. I'm glad you said it. we're not going to shy away from it. But Jessica and I are both Christians, and we really value and love um, things he said, and other players too. So that was really really encouraging to see as well. We're actually out of time, guys. I mean, to be honest with you, and like I just thought, we only got to the major ones here. So thankfully, I've got a lot of things to talk about with Jessica. We didn't even get to talk about the Kim Possible. I used to be a huge. I'm not afraid to say I used to be a huge Kim Possible fan, and this new live videos that's coming, or live movie that's coming, it's got me kind of excited. I also, believe it or not, want to talk about Tokyo, the theme park there, and so there's a lot of stuff for us to cover next week. Yeah, we have a time limit here, so because we have so much to do. We talked too much and got off talking. Look, this is what this is about, though. I'm serious. Is that I want you guys to be involved in this just like you have tonight. I really do appreciate it that you want to be on here at the same time as me, talk with me, interact with me. That means so much. And even if you're watching this on the replay, like I value, and Jessica does as well, any interaction we get from you guys, because it really does mean the world. It's all about creating community. And just meeting new people and stuff. And Farah is now freaking out on Facebook Live about Kim Possible. So Farah, you'll have to come back next week when we actually maybe have a chance to cover that as well, along with everything else that's probably going to happen next week. So I think that's going to be it. Just make sure you follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and then go check out our YouTube channel. We have a live show every Thursday night at 7:30, and then we usually put out a video on Monday. That's kind of, more properly edited. And then we also have random videos that come out at different times, like trailer reactions, which you should go check out. Other than that, guys, I really appreciate it. I will tell Jessica you said hello, and that I was okay without her. Not great, but okay. I really appreciate it. That's all I have for you guys tonight. But until next time, I'll see you real soon.